On my 33rd birthday, my boyfriend handed me a silver gift box and told everyone to watch while I opened it. I was 14 weeks pregnant, and our baby's ultrasound was hidden beneath the cake. Ryan stood in the middle of our Denver condo with one hand in his pocket, wearing the calm smile he used when he was about to close a deal. Around him were my coworkers, neighbors, my cousin Lucy, and my best friend, Camille. Several people lifted their phones because they thought he was proposing. For one foolish second, so did I. I had spent the afternoon filling our living room with cream-colored balloons and white candles. The cake set a new chapter in pale gold icing. I had tucked the ultrasound into an envelope under the cake board so I could lift it out after making my wish. For 3 hours, I had sipped sparkling water from a wineglass and waited to tell Ryan. He was going to be a father. "Open it, Valerie," he said. "I want everyone to understand why I'm done wasting time on you." The room went still. Inside the box was no ring. There was one folded sheet of paper. "I'm tired of carrying you," it read. "Movers come Monday. We sell the condo. Camille knows how to build a life with a man who's actually going somewhere." The playlist continued for several painful seconds. Someone near the kitchen laughed nervously, still hoping it was a cruel joke. Lucy snatched the note from my hand. Camille did not move. She wore the emerald dress I had bought her the previous Christmas, and under the pendant lights, her face went colorless. "Ryan," she whispered, "this wasn't what you said you were going to do." He looked annoyed with her. "We're done hiding." That was how 19 people learned my boyfriend of 4 years had been sleeping with the woman I called my sister. I felt a hard pull low in my abdomen and covered it with my palm. Ryan mistook the movement for weakness. He stepped closer, lowering his voice just enough to seem reasonable for the cameras. "Don't make a scene, Val. We can discuss the sale after you've calmed down." He expected tears. He needed them. What Ryan did not know was that I had already cried for 2 weeks. I had found hotel charges in Aspen on the corporate card he kept in his gym bag, a bracelet receipt from Cherry Creek, and 3 rides to Camille's apartment. Then his smartwatch lit up while he was in the shower. "Are you sure Valerie doesn't suspect?" Camille had written. "I can't lose the studio over this." I had photographed everything and stored it in an email account Ryan did not know existed. I had also discovered a draft purchase agreement on our shared printer. A company connected to his father intended to buy our condo for nearly $90,000 below market value. My signature line was blank. Ryan thought the birthday ambush would shock me into signing whatever he put in front of me next. I folded his note and slid it back into the silver box. "Thank you for doing this in front of witnesses." His smile twitched. "What?" I looked at Camille. "And thank you for coming in the dress I gave you. I might have doubted how little I meant to you otherwise." She stared at the floor. Ryan headed for the door. "I'll be back Monday with movers. You won't be here. You will not be alone with me in this home again." He turned, finally angry. "My family can force the sale. You have no idea who you're fighting." After he left, Lucy locked the door and pulled me into her arms. The guests quietly put away their phones. I opened the cake box, removed the ultrasound, and held it against my chest while the icing softened under the lights. For days later, the papers taped to my door showed me what Ryan had really come to take. Lucy stayed that night without offering easy comfort. She washed glasses, boxed the untouched cake, and deleted the music that had kept playing during my humiliation. At 3 a.m., we sat on the kitchen floor while I showed her the secret email, the corporate charges, and the discounted purchase agreement. At 8 o'clock, I called the building manager and requested copies of every key fob entry tied to our unit. At 9 o'clock, I installed an interior camera facing the front door and moved my passport, tax returns, and closing documents into a bank box. At 11 o'clock, I met by video with Maya Lawson, a property attorney Lucy trusted. Ryan and I were not married, but both names were on the title. I had provided most of the down payment and covered almost 70% of the mortgage for the last 2 years while he claimed his income was tied up in commissions. Maya explained that he could ask a court to divide or sell the property, but he could not simply erase my ownership or choose a bargain buyer without scrutiny. "Protect your records," she said. "Do not meet him alone. Keep every exchange in writing. And do not sign anything because he creates an emergency." On Monday, Ryan arrived with a rented truck and 2 movers. He was perfumed, furious, and certain I would open the door out of habit. Instead, Lucy, my brother Aaron, and the building manager stood beside me. His clothes and electronics had been inventoried and boxed. Maya had prepared a receipt confirming that collecting them did not decide ownership of the condo. "What is this circus?" Ryan asked. "Witnesses," I said. "Check the list, take your property, and leave." His gaze dropped to the small curve beneath my sweater. "You're pregnant?" No one answered. He stared at me, then asked the question that killed the last living thing between us. Is it mine? Aaron stepped forward when Ryan reached for me. Do not talk about my baby as though he's an inconvenient invoice, I said. If you want a place in his life, start behaving as someone safe enough to have one. Ryan signed the inventory with a shaking hand. At the elevator, he recovered enough to smirk. You'll need me before this is over. No. You'll need the truth to be kinder than the evidence. The real attack arrived 4 days later. Ryan petitioned the court to force a sale and submitted an affidavit claiming I was emotionally unstable, planning to leave Colorado, and unable to maintain the property. Attached were copies of my driver's license, the original closing statement, and a sample of my signature from a private insurance form. Those papers had been in a tan folder in my desk. Only one person outside our home had a spare key, Camille. The building retained hallway footage for 30 days. The manager found the entry in less than an hour. 3 weeks before my birthday, Camille had used her fob at 1:17 p.m. She entered empty-handed and left 11 minutes later with my tan folder pressed beneath her coat. I sent her a still image and one sentence, I know what you took from my home. She replied 6 minutes later. Ryan said the papers were for a refinance that would help you. I almost laughed. She had slept with him, stolen from me, and still wanted to be remembered as someone who had misunderstood instructions. Maya sent a preservation letter to Ryan, his attorney, and Mercer Development, the company run by his father. Because the Aspen Hotel and Camille's bracelet had been charged to Ryan's company card, she included those receipts. She also requested a meeting before the court hearing and warned that we would challenge the proposed buyer's connection to his family. The meeting took place in Maya's downtown office. Ryan arrived with his property lawyer and a silver-haired compliance officer from Mercer Development named Thomas Bell. Lucy sat beside me. On the table was a red binder containing my payment records, the underpriced offer, the hallway images, and screenshots of Camille's messages. Ryan leaned back as if I were a difficult employee. You can still end this without embarrassing yourself further. Take the offer and move somewhere more practical for a single mother. Maya opened the binder. Let's begin with the person your client sent into Ms. Bennett's home to remove documents. His lawyer stopped writing. My phone vibrated beneath the table. The message was from Camille. I need to tell the truth. He lied to me too. I have recordings. I showed Maya. She asked one question, then told Camille to come immediately and bring the original files. Ryan watched our faces and, for the first time since my birthday, looked afraid. Camille entered 27 minutes later without makeup, clutching a flash drive. Ryan shot to his feet. You have no right to be here. I have every right, she said. You made me help you destroy her, and you were planning to destroy me next. The first recording had been made the night after I confronted her. Camille was in the conversation, which made the recording lawful in Colorado. Ryan's voice filled the conference room. The pregnancy complicates it. If she signs before people know, she can't use the baby for sympathy. The birthday was supposed to make her lose control. If she screamed on camera, my lawyer could use it. Camille asked what would happen if I refused. We call her unstable, force the sale, and have my dad's LLC buy it cheap. Once Valerie is out, we renovate. And clear 6 figures. My humiliation had not been an impulsive breakup. It had been a performance designed to manufacture evidence against me. Ryan had invited people to watch because he wanted witnesses to my collapse. Instead, the videos showed him taunting a silent woman while she asked for witnesses. The next recording exposed a second lie. Ryan had promised Camille the condo, telling her we would live there after the sale. In the audio, he laughed and told a friend that Camille was temporary and would take the blame if anyone discovered the missing documents. Camille closed her eyes as if hearing it again physically hurt. Thomas Bell shut his folder. Mr. Mercer, your father ordered an audit after Ms. Lawson sent the expense records. You are suspended effective today. The company has never authorized this purchase offer, and the LLC named in it belongs to you, not your father. Ryan went pale. For years, he had used his last name as a locked door. His father had just opened it from the other side. Ryan called Camille jealous, unstable, and vindictive. He used the same words he had placed beside my name in his affidavit. As she listened, Camille finally understood that she had never been chosen. She had only been next. I stood. I am not here to fight over a man. I am here to protect my home and my son. Within 2 weeks, Ryan withdrew the false affidavit. Facing the footage, the recordings, an employment investigation, and a detailed accounting of our payments, he accepted a settlement. An independent appraiser valued the condo. My excess mortgage contributions and the unauthorized money he had taken from our shared account were credited against his equity. I refinanced, paid the remaining balance owed to him, and became the sole owner. A separate family court agreement established support, medical costs, and supervised contact after the baby's birth. I did not post the recordings. I did not need strangers to punish him. Ryan lost his title at Mercer Development after the audit found 18 months of personal expenses. Camille returned my key and admitted she had envied the life she thought I had. You had stability, love, plans, she said outside my building. I had a lie with better lighting. She offered back the earrings I had lent her. I took the key, not the earrings. Keep them, I said. Remember what it cost to betray someone who opened her home to you. I closed the door without hugging her and without shouting. Sometimes dignity is simply deciding who no longer gets access. 3 months later, Ryan asked to meet in a coffee shop near Union Station. He looked thinner and wore no expensive watch. He brought diapers and an apology letter. I want to be in my son's life, he said. I don't know how to repair this. You don't repair a burned house by painting the front door. If you want to be his father, prove it with consistency, respect, and boundaries. I gave him the schedule and left before he could mistake mercy for reconciliation. My son, Miles, was born during a spring thunderstorm, weighing 7 pounds 8 ounces. Lucy held my hand. Ryan arrived an hour later with a blue blanket and eyes full of guilt. I did not offer him my hand. I let him see his child. Those were different things. Over the following months, Ryan paid what the court ordered, attended supervised visits, and learned to change diapers without expecting applause. I allowed Miles to have a father while refusing to surrender my peace. 1 year after the silver box, I celebrated my birthday in the same condo. There were no elaborate balloons, only coffee, pastries, Lucy holding Miles, and 6 people who deserved to be in my living room. Beside the cake stood the first ultrasound and Ryan's empty gift box. I kept it because the worst present of my life had revealed the price of staying blind. That evening, after everyone left, I carried my sleeping son through the quiet room. It was no longer the place where Ryan had humiliated me. It was the place where I had chosen myself. The woman who opened that cruel note was gone. In her place stood a mother, a homeowner, and the guardian of her own peace. I learned that revenge does not always roar. Sometimes it is a locked boundary, a binder full of proof, and a child growing up beyond the reach of his father's lies.